Hey everybody, it's David Pingree. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Garage Build. Today we've got a 2019 KTM 450, and these bikes are incredible right off the showroom floor. Their motto, ready to race, is very applicable. It's very true to what the products they're turning out. And we wanted to do something just very simple with this bike, keep it very cost effective, but still trying to boost performance. So we went to our friends at Three Brothers KTM. These guys are out of Costa Mesa, largest KTM dealer in the country. And they are a WP like certified service center. So we actually had them do the suspension on this bike, and they sort of directed the build as well. So anytime if you need suspension valved, revalved, changed, adjusted, service, they're your place to go. And there's not a whole lot of those, so it's a pretty big deal for those guys. And we told them we wanted to keep this thing something that anybody could go out and afford. You know, a lot of times we get carried away because we can, and we just throw the whole kitchen sink at these bikes. And we're not typically worried about budget for these builds. We're trying to make them very cool. Well, this one we're trying to do both. See if we can keep it really within a good budget, but still do some great things to it. So they valved the suspension. We're going to get our chance on the track with that. I'm anxious to see how they do. And then they added a few bits and pieces. So starting with bars, grips up here at your controls, everything was Pro Taper. Pro Taper's got a new lock-on grip, and I'm anxious to try these. They obviously make great products, and this is something new that I'm interested in trying. Sort of a stealth bar pad, they call it. It's kind of black on black, looks really cool. Also, chain and sprocket is all Pro Taper as well. We've got some Michelin Starcross 5 tires on here, which we love. Our buddy Randy at Michelin took care of us there. And we mounted them to a set of W wheels. And obviously this isn't something you have to do, but if you're riding at a high level or riding a lot, this is just a much more durable wheel set. You know, we've got the Talon hub with DID rims. The folks at W put those together for us with their spoke kit. It's just a bulletproof wheel set. So it's a nice addition. You don't ever have to worry about something happening there. They added on a Yoshimura exhaust, full Yoshimura exhaust system. Fit and finish on these things is great. This is the stainless one. They've got ones that are more expensive with the high-end stuff, the materials if you want it, but like I said, we were trying to keep the budget within reason. It's stock plastic, okay, and we just had the folks at Moto Cuts do a graphic setup with an SDG seat cover, a whole seat system actually. And I think it looks really clean to me. I think they've done a great job designing it. Looks really sleek. I'm pretty stoked on the way it came out. And again, we could have gone to different foot pegs, different things like that, but these stock ones they're good. If you want to make these sharper, I've seen people take angle grinders and just sharpen the teeth a little bit. Totally works. The platform's nice. One other thing they added are these ARC Unbreakable Levers. And I don't know if you've ever seen these, but they're made of a composite where you can actually take and bend them down. So if you fall, they'll bend, but then they'll always return right back to their standard position. It's a very trippy material when you feel it. So I've seen them on bikes. I don't think I've ever had one on mine, so we're going to give those a whirl today. Hopefully I don't crash and test them, but we'll see how those things work. So again, that's it. Very simple changes that we made to this thing. Just parts and pieces that you want to make sure are not going to break or bend, and then a few performance parts just to sort of pep it up a little bit. So I'm anxious to give this a try, see if the Three Brothers boys hit the mark. Let's go get this thing on the track. All right, well, just off the track, initial impressions that this is just improvement kind of all the way around from stock. And this is a great bike in stock trim. So the few things I noticed, I can tell the suspension's set up for me. You know, stock, the back end is a little firm, a little oversprung maybe. They dialed this stuff in for me. 170 pounds, vet expert-ish. whatever my speed would be, probably closer to intermediate these days, but I can just tell that it works better for me. And I literally didn't touch a clicker. I didn't mess with anything. The balance was great right away. I did soften the fork 1 click out there, and I probably liked it better here today, but if I went somewhere with big hills or if it was soft, deep dirt, I'd probably go back out, maybe even firmer 1 click. But they've actually hit it really in a good spot for me where with a click or two, I can make adjustments to different tracks and be comfortable. That's what you want. So great job on the suspension with those Three Brothers guys. Pretty happy with that. Impressed, actually. And actually the valving that they did really improved the fork for me. Didn't have sort of the boingy, quick rebound feel that the air fork tends to have that I don't like. It did correct a little bit of that. So yeah, pleasantly surprised with that stuff. So good on those guys. As far as the power goes, you know, in the stock trim, I would go back and forth between map 1 and map 2, and I really like the traction control, and I still do, but I found myself more on map 1 here. Just adding the extra horsepower of the exhaust system is enough that 2 is kind of too much for me. And again, maybe someplace with big hills, or if I was doing a GP or sand, I don't know, whatever, you would want the extra. But for me, I went back to the stock map, left traction control on, and it kept it smooth and controllable, but plenty of horsepower. The Yosh system definitely adds some meat across the whole board, and you can feel it. Some of the other things, I really like the seat. Good grip, got a nice feel to it, kept me planted coming out of turns pretty well. The grips, I tend to not, my downside with lock-on grips is they, in order to make those work, they're a little fatter, right? And I can't, if my grips get any fatter, I hold on tighter and I pump up more. So that's always been an issue. And these, I know that they said they made a really concerted effort to keep them thin, and I notice it. These are actually probably my favorite lock-on grips I've ever used. They still feel nice and thin, and it's not a complete half waffle. It's kind of like quarter waffle almost. But the grip is still there, but I don't get the fat feeling. So I'm really stoked on those. I might probably be hitting my buddy Paul up over there for some of these. Bars were a little tall. The bend for my liking, I would probably put something on a little bit lower, similar to stock, but that's just personal preference. The arc levers, no, I didn't notice anything about those being made of a different material, or I noticed in the past, especially if you run the lever too far out, the adjuster screw will hit your, well, and I guess it depends on what finger you use. I use my middle finger, so that adjuster bolt would be smacking my knuckle on my pointer finger. And I didn't have that happen in here. Everything is tucked in nice and clean. So they did a great job with those. And if you use your index or your pointer finger to brake or clutch, obviously that's not an issue, but really nice. I like the way that they mount on here. Your 8mm bolts are up top instead of towards you, which is just kind of nice. Looks really clean, obviously incredibly durable. You're not going to break these things. You can smack them with a sledgehammer. I mean, I can just show you here. You can just bend them down, and you watch the things will just bend right back into place. So pretty cool material. I don't know what the heck it is, but really like those. Good traction with the Michelin tires. I'm obviously not feeling anything with the wheels, but they look great. We know they're durable. W makes a quality product. So all the way around, stoked on this thing. I think it looks great. Thanks to Moto Cuts for the work on the design. I really appreciate the work Three Brothers put into this thing. So thanks to those guys. If you're in Southern California and looking for one of these bikes, or their distant cousin, the Husqvarna, they can service your suspension. They can take care of you over there. So Eduardo, thank you for the help. We're stoked on it. Thanks for everybody that was involved, and we'll see you guys in the next garage build.